Welcome back, YouTube. It is Saiko, and today we are here back with another video in our 30 teams in 30 day series. Actually, like the second to last video in this series. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Suns. During this offseason, the Suns actually kept a lot of their key pieces to this team. The only guys that didn't come back to the team were Torrey Craig, Langston Galloway, and Etuan Moore. And they also were able to re-sign guys like Cameron Payne, Frank Kaminsky, and Abdel Nader, who were pretty much solid guys, aside from Abdel Nader because of his injury. But I mean, they still brought back kind of like the key major pieces of their team. And Chris Paul, who was basically like the biggest component to this team, the whole reason why they were in the finals, they were able to re-sign him to a 3-year deal for, I'd say, like a pretty decent amount, especially when you look at like the way that the contract is structured. Landry Shamet was also acquired by the team for the 29th pick and Javon Carter. So, I mean, I think the only upsetting thing about this trade is the fact that Landry Shamet doesn't play defense, or at least his defense isn't as good as Javon Carter's is. And as for this team's starting lineup, I think we pretty much already know what it's going to look like, especially if you watched the finals or hell, even the playoffs in general. Chris Paul is going to be at the 1, Devin Booker is going to be at the 2, Mikal Bridges is going to be at the 3, Jay Crowder is going to be at the 4, and DeAndre Ayton is going to be at the 5. Off the bench, I see guys like Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet, Abdel Nader, Cam Johnson, and JaVale McGee getting a majority of the backup minutes. I also expect guys like Frank Kaminsky and Dario Saric, once he comes back from his ACL injury, to get minutes on this team as well, because they were both really good key pieces on why the Suns were so successful last year. Chris Paul is probably my favorite point guard of all time. I know that I talked about how much I love Damian Lillard, but I think as an actual point guard, Chris Paul will always, like, be my #1 fan favorite. Out of all the guys in the league, specifically in the point guard category, he is like literally the most traditional point guard out there. Well, unless you count Lonzo Ball, but I mean, last year he really wasn't, but I think this year he's going back to like that traditional point guard role. Chris Paul has legitimately shown that any team that he goes to, he can pretty much turn into a scary team, or a team that could look like a contender. I only say that just because all the Clippers teams have just basically failed. And I was really happy to see him in the finals last year, because it's about damn time, Chris. Like, I've always wanted him to win a ring, especially last year, because I mean, compared to Giannis, CP is a lot older, so like, his window of opportunity to win a ring isn't as large as Giannis is. We all know what CP is gonna do. Do I really have to say anything? He's gonna be an amazing mid-range shooter. He's gonna be the best playmaker that I probably have ever seen in my life, or at least like been able to watch. He's literally just the definition of a true floor general. Also, I would like to actually point out that last year in the Western Conference Finals, my friend actually asked me who I was rooting for, because he knows that Paul George is my favorite player in the league, and he also knows that CP is my favorite point guard of all time. So when he asked me that question, even still to this day, I don't know who I would have preferred, because I love both of those guys. But I guess maybe CP might have the slighter edge just because of the fact that he is older. Although Paul George is getting up there in age as well, or is at least like, about to hit like his mid-30s soon enough. So I don't know. I still don't know the answer to who I really wanted, if it was CP or PG in the finals last year. But maybe I just might side with CP. Devin Booker finally made his first playoff appearance last year, and it just so happens that his first playoff appearance was him getting to the finals. And even though he fouled a fuck ton in the playoffs, I mean, the man literally showed his ass last year. Like, he just showed how great he was, especially on all those national televised games, because I mean, basically every playoff game is going to be nationally televised. He was a guy who was pretty much looked at to be this empty stats player because of the fact that, I mean, he scored so good, he was playmaking a lot, he basically had to do like everything for the team, but yet it wasn't contributing to him getting into the playoffs. But I think with both CP and Monty Williams there, they kind of were able to guide him in the right direction of, not being this empty stats guy, and like really showing that he is truly worthy of an all-star caliber label. I mean, hell, I feel like the man could be an all-star just because of the fact that he kind of broke the Kardashian/Jenner curse. He made it to the finals. I mean, he didn't win in the finals, but I mean, he made it to the playoffs. He showed how great he was while dating a Jenner/Kardashian, whatever the heck you want to call her. Just the way that he performed in the playoffs really proved that, like, Devin Booker really has arrived. Not like he didn't before, but I mean, he kind of like made it known to like, the like bigger audiences that like, he's here. Well, other than that shitty game 6 that he had in the finals. But I mean, I'm still a fan of you, Book. Also, by the way, shout out PB to plug for the Can't Talk Basketball with Everyone hoodie. He's way bigger than me, but I mean, I'm a fan of you, dude, and just like, yeah, gotta represent. Devin Booker tweeted it. There's a photo of Devin Booker on this hoodie, so had to wear it today. Mikal Bridges literally just got paid like a day or two ago, depending on when you're watching this video at least. Aside from CP, I think Mikal is probably my favorite player on this team. I'm a really big fan of him. I'm a really big fan of like basically whoever the hell he is assigned to on the court on the defensive end, he's gonna give it his maximum effort to try and stop that player. Also, he shot like 42% from 3 last year, so like, you know, he's literally like, he would be a 3-and-D player that I would love on any team really. And if he can keep up that 42% from 3 this year, then I mean, shit, like, he's definitely like a starting caliber forward. Well, maybe not compared to like, you know, some of the other guys out there, but like, I think he'd be good as a really good, you know, just he plays his role. Jay Crowder is the Black Air Force energy guy on this team. I can't even lie to you, for the past few years as a Lakers fan, he's kind of pissed me off a little bit, but it's really hard for me to knock him because the dude is literally just a hustler. He's a vocal leader, and he's gonna let you know what he thinks. A guy like him literally just wants to win, and he's gonna do whatever it takes, even if that means going out there and playing hard every night. And, you know, just occasionally, like, pissing off, like, every opposing fan base that he goes against. Is that actually true? I don't know, but like as a Lakers fan, he kind of pissed me off a little bit, especially like in the bubble and then last year in the first round. But I still really can't knock the guy because, you know, he's a really hard worker. DeAndre Ayton's contract extension talks have pretty much gone from like up here to pretty much nothing at all. No coverage, nothing. With Mikal's extension just getting announced, I feel like maybe now they're going to try and work with Ayton, but I mean, both sides just haven't been able to find, you know, that middle ground. Yeah, I know that like last year in the regular season, he didn't look like what I thought he was going to look like. I thought he was going to be the most improved player last year, especially because, you know, CP just has some sort of magic with like all the centers that he plays with. But he didn't really do that, not until the playoffs at least. The guy is literally a walking double-double, and if he can replicate the level of production that he had last year in the playoffs in this year's regular season, then please, Phoenix, pay him. Maybe he, you know, just randomly ends up getting a contract extension like literally as this video goes up, or like hours after this video goes live. I don't know. But I don't know if you can still negotiate contract extensions right now, because it is like super close to, you know, the beginning of the season. By the way, guys, if you guys are actually enjoying the video so far, please hit the like button and also hit subscribe. Don't forget to also hit the bell notification though, so that way you don't miss out on another video. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you guys could actually hit the subscribe button if you like the content and hit the like button, I would really appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure guys like CP and Devin Booker would too. Cameron Payne came to this team like, what, last year, 2 years ago, and he literally proved that he's still a viable option as a backup point guard. The guy legitimately became like a really decent two-way player in this league this past year. From pretty much leaving the league like 2 years ago to play in China to now being back in it and being on a championship team and also being a big contributor on that team, Cam Payne has really turned his career around. And honestly, if he replicates the sort of year that he had last year this year, I think he could definitely be like a 6th man of the year type of guy. Landry Shamet is a sharp shooter, and I do kind of miss him being on the Clippers. Honestly, the dude has literally been traded like to a million teams within like the past like 4 years, like 4 teams in 4 years or something like that. And I do know that apparently Monty Williams did say that they were trying to get Shamet for a long time, so hopefully he finally has a home in Phoenix. But I still do have to say that like looking at him last year, he did have a lot of moments where he was inconsistent shooting the ball, but I hope that, you know, playing with a point guard like CP or something like that, or just playing with this team in general, you know, he can like find that consistency that, you know, we saw from him when he first got onto the Clippers. He's just the perfect catch and shoot guy that would be on this team. Abdel Nader didn't get a lot of playing time last year because he pretty much had a lingering knee injury throughout the entire season going into the playoffs too. But like looking at him in OKC and in Boston, he looks like a sharpshooter. So hopefully if his knee can stay healthy, or if he can just stay healthy in general, I think that he can be a pretty decent backup for this team. Cam Johnson was someone his rookie year that was actually, to my surprise, older than Devin Booker. That was just crazy to me. The fact that a rookie is older than the team's best player on the team at that point was just mind-boggling to me. Like, dude, you spent so much time in college that you're older than some of the dudes on this team as a first year. But he's a defensive player that will also shoot the 3. He plays really solid defense, and he's one of the guys that is a real big key component to this Suns second unit. So like, you know, he could actually, maybe if they decide to, he may end up starting over Jay Crowder, but I mean, right now that kind of looks like a bit of a stretch. JaVale McGee is going to be what we expect him to be. He's going to block shots and also probably carry home the Shaqtin' the Fool MVP. Part of me is really wishing that Jalen Smith can actually get some decent playing time this year though. The team drafted him last year, and he ended up getting injured, and he also caught the virus, so he pretty much after that was relegated to just kind of being a bench warmer. And I do realize that, you know, the Suns are in win now mode, especially because, you know, they were in the finals last year, so I mean, why wouldn't they? But I would still love it if they were able to, you know, just develop a young guy like Jalen Smith, because, you know, JaVale is still pretty old, or is getting there up in age at least. I'm also expecting Frank Kaminsky to get at least a few minutes on this team, just because, you know, he played there last year and he looked pretty decent when he did. So, I mean, he was kind of a key part to this team, especially like, you know, as being a guy who was filling in as a starter. And I mean, he looked good when he was playing. As for where this team pretty much places, I kind of see them as being like the second or third seed, kind of pretty much in the same realm as they were last year. After their playoff success last year, I don't expect this team to falter or, you know, settle for anything less than being a second or third seed. Even with all the teams in the West getting better, like for example, the Lakers, I still think that they're going to have a chance to, you know, be true contenders. They're a championship caliber team, and plus I just want to see CP win a ring. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Suns are championship contenders just like they were last year? Or do you think that, you know, with some of the teams in the West getting better, that the Suns are actually going to fall in the standings and may not be as good as we think they'll be? Let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more content. My name is Saiko, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for the final video in our 30 teams in 30 day series on the Utah Jazz. Bye, guys.